My gig on the show, for those who haven't caught it, is pretty straightforward. I'm an apprentice, diving in alongside folks who tackle the real work at hand, sharing their grind and responsibilities. Picture spotting a danger ahead sign while cruising down the highway. What do? You'd likely veer onto a safer path. For Mike Rowe, no glaring warning sign flashed in neon, but subtle red flags dotted his journey. At first glance, he came off as a charismatic yarn spinner, capable of turning the mundane into must-watch TV. Yet, behind that warm grin and steady cadence lurked a figure who ignited debates, upended norms, and sparked disputes that still split audiences today. Stick around to uncover Mike Rowe's true essence, the hints we overlooked, and why so many brushed off the signals. Humble roots. Mike Rowe's saga kicked off far from the glitz of TV studios and the fame that would later define him. Born in March 1962 to a working-class clan in Baltimore, he was raised on the virtues of grit and honesty. Reports note his parents, both educators, instilled a deep respect for discipline and perseverance. His early years were filled with everyday moments, school days, family evenings, and weekends wandering his neighborhood. Even as a kid, Mike had a knack for storytelling, a sharp wit, and a gift for connecting with folks. Stardom wasn't his childhood dream. He was more captivated by voices, melodies, and the overlooked details of life. With a keen ear, he could mimic voices with uncanny precision, a talent that would later shape his career. In Baltimore's school scene, he sang in choirs and took part in modest theater productions, building ease in front of crowds. This fearlessness set him apart from peers, quietly priming him for a stage far grander than he imagined. At Towson University, Mike pursued communications, a natural fit for his flair for narration and engagement. Fame wasn't the goal, but media and performance pulled him in. He honed his vocal craft through music and theater, later training at the Washington, D.C. Opera Institute, and even performing with the Baltimore Opera. Those close to him marveled at his reverence for the voice, not just a tool, but an art form to breathe life into stories. His path, though, wasn't linear. Mike dabbled in varied ventures, unsure where his skills might land. He took on small gigs, commercial voiceovers, TV spots, honing his craft while paying the bills. For years, he lingered in the entertainment industry's shadows, his voice echoing in places where few paused to wonder who was behind it. His big break came from an unlikely corner. QVC, the home shopping channel. What started as a lark, an audition taken on a whim, landed him a spot. Initially, it was just a paycheck, peddling gadgets and gems on late-night airwaves. But Mike didn't just sell, he entertained. With quick humor, sly sarcasm, and off-the-cuff flair, he could spin a 20-minute tale about a paper shredder and keep viewers glued. QVC, though unglamorous, taught him to connect with everyday folks and speak naturally under bright lights. After years there, Mike branched out, his voice now a polished instrument. Soon, he was narrating for heavyweights like the Most on History Channel and Deadliest Catch on Discovery, proving his timbre, calm, commanding, trustworthy, could carry stories with magnetic pull. Unlike many narrators, Mike made viewers feel he was speaking right to them, turning him from a voiceover artist into a trusted guide. By the early 2000s, his voice was iconic, even if his face wasn't. Yet, he yearned for more than anonymity. He wanted to step into the stories, not just narrate them. The Discovery Channel handed him that chance with a bold, risky pitch. Plunge into the nitty-gritty of real-world labor alongside unsung workers, tackling the grimiest, toughest, least celebrated jobs out there. For Mike, it was both daunting and exhilarating. A leap from the safety of the booth into a raw, unscripted world with no safety net, just his wit and grit. The payoff? A shot to reveal himself not just as a voice, but as a relatable everyman who could toil, laugh, and struggle beside America's backbone. The gamble was steep, but the reward was a chance to become a symbol. What followed was the show that would cement his legacy, reshape views on labor, and make him a household name. The stage was ready, the cameras rolled, and Mike Rowe was poised to leap into a venture that would redefine his life. How did a former opera singer, shopping channel pitchman, and narrator of others' tales become the face of a series celebrating America's toughest gigs? The answer lies in a journey that stunned viewers, thrilled fans, and sparked nationwide debates. That journey had a name: Dirty Jobs. Dirty Jobs didn't sprout from sleek boardrooms or execs plotting grand visions. It began humbly, almost by chance, with a raw, personal moment. While filming a segment for a local show, Mike visited a sheep farmer named Gene. The plan was a simple piece on agriculture, but Gene roped Mike into a gritty task: castrating lambs. It was messy, awkward, and far from TV's polished norm. Yet, it was unfiltered, real, and gripping. That moment hit hard. Producer Mary Sullivan saw gold, not just in the farm or the task, but in showcasing unvarnished work with humor and respect. Mike didn't just endure, he leaned in, honoring the farmer's craft. From that muddy day, a seed took root, and Dirty Jobs began to form. Mike, alongside Discovery execs and Sullivan as executive producer, shaped that raw encounter into a groundbreaking series. The premise was simple yet radical. Ditch celebrities and experts. Send Mike to toil alongside everyday workers. No scripts, no rehearsals, just the job and its doers. The show's heart wasn't just shock value or grime. It was a tribute to the unsung. Plumbers, sewer cleaners, pig farmers, trash haulers, miners, whose vital work kept society humming. Mike aimed to show viewers that pride and dignity thrive even in the muckiest tasks, spotlighting the workers who power America's pulse. Over its run, Dirty Jobs delivered unforgettable scenes. Mike wading through sewers, wrangling livestock, handling cadavers at a morgue, or diving into shark-filled waters with researchers. One episode plunged him into a stench-soaked wastewater plant. Another sent him underground with miners in airless, grueling conditions. He joined garbage crews, never mocking their labor, but sharing their stories, laughs, and sweat. His respect was palpable in every wince, chuckle, and weary sigh, making the show a cultural touchstone. Behind the scenes, the crew kept it real. No staged lines, no fake reactions. What aired was what happened, giving Dirty Jobs an edge over glossier reality fare. Viewers didn't just watch Mike get filthy. They glimpsed the lives of those who did these jobs daily. The show educated, unveiling industries like storm drain cleaning or exotic animal farming, shifting how people valued labor. It revealed the unseen hands behind daily comforts, sparking a reckoning about work's worth. Yet, not everyone cheered. Critics questioned if Dirty Jobs romanticized hardship or trivialized risky conditions. Others argued it oversimplified complex fields, glossing over low wages or scarce benefits. Still, in its early days, the buzz drowned out the naysayers. Workers featured felt seen, their labor validated on a national stage, often for the first time. As seasons rolled on, Dirty Jobs grew beyond its premise, becoming a statement on work's essence, challenging views on success, education, and respect. It proved TV could captivate without glamour, just truth. But that truth bred questions, and questions bred controversy. As Mike's platform expanded, not all embraced his message. Some hailed him as a truth teller. Others saw a provocateur pushing too far. The rawness that fueled Dirty Jobs' rise spilled into debates far beyond muck and toil, thrusting Mike into a sharper spotlight where TV, opinions, and society collided. Controversial stances on education and trades. The spark that turned Mike Rowe from host to lightning rod wasn't a filthy sewer or perilous job site. It was his words. Off camera, his commentary on education, college pressure, and the overlooked value of skilled trades stirred a firestorm. For years, America peddled a mantra: college equals success. Parents preached it, schools enforced it, leaders endorsed it. Degrees were the golden key, while trades, plumbing, welding, mechanics, were sidelined as lesser paths. Mike challenged this dogma, arguing that herding everyone into universities was misguided and harmful. Why demean the trades that keep society running? Why shame a kid for picking a wrench over a diploma? He pointed to a skills gap, not a job shortage, but a scarcity of trained workers for essential roles. While graduates drowned in debt for degrees yielding slim prospects, employers in construction and tech trades begged for skilled hands. Mike saw this disconnect as a societal flaw, not a worker's failing. Supporters lauded him for voicing their frustrations, families watching kids sink under loans for unmarketable degrees. But critics called his stance reckless, accusing him of dismissing college's value or painting academia as the enemy. The heat spiked when Mike backed his words with action, launching the MicroWorks Foundation to fund trade school scholarships for aspiring electricians, welders, and technicians. This wasn't just talk, it was a mission. Was he uplifting trades at college's expense, or rebalancing a skewed system? Detractors noted trades' downsides: low pay, physical toll, limited mobility, arguing Mike's push risked funneling youth into grueling careers without addressing systemic flaws. Mike countered that the real issue was stigma, not the work. Why exalt white-collar jobs while treating blue-collar ones as a last resort? When did a counselor last champion welding over law? His questions, calm, pointed, forced uneasy reflection. At their core was respect. Every job done with skill and integrity deserved it. Critics argued he created a false dichotomy. Couldn't college and trades coexist? As student debt soared, Mike's voice grew sharper, decrying the hollow promises of higher education. Struggling families felt seen, academics felt attacked. Was he a defender of the overlooked or a critic dismantling an institution without enough fixes? Delivered with his trademark calm, his words landed like thunder, fueling a debate about values, worth, and society's unseen pillars. Some saw a beacon, others a rabble-rouser. Soon, his commentary would leap beyond education to touch raw nerves in a world upended by a global crisis: COVID-19 and public firestorm. When 2020's pandemic halted the globe, voices of authority, politicians, scientists, commentators, clashed over survival strategies. Mike Rowe's voice cut through, not on dirty jobs or trades, but on the toll of lockdowns on workers he'd long championed. Speaking as a friend to plumbers, truckers, and small business owners, he highlighted their plight. Restaurants shuttered, projects stalled, factories silenced. These non-essential workers bore the brunt. He posed tough questions. How long can you survive without income? How do families eat when their work's deemed dispensable? Supporters hailed him as a voice of reason, amplifying private struggles. Critics accused him of downplaying the virus's threat, risking lives for jobs. His focus on personal freedom and government overreach pinned him as conservative to some, thrusting him into political crosshairs he never sought. A single post questioning blanket shutdowns could ignite viral wars, splitting families and friends. His calm critique of indefinite industry halts, warning of shuttered businesses and rising poverty, struck some as prescient, others as defiant of science. Critics urged him to stick to TV, but Mike, who'd built his name illuminating workers, wouldn't mute their crisis. Was he a realist or a rebel? That question framed him as either a working-class hero or a cultural provocateur, the truth-teller or troublemaker debate. Mike Rowe's story begs a lingering question. Was he a rare voice daring to speak hard truths, or a spark for division? To fans, he was a truth-teller, cutting through polished rhetoric with plain talk. His defense of workers, critique of college dogma, and lockdown laments resonated with those feeling ignored. He spoke for families crushed by debt, youth seeking trade paths, and owners losing livelihoods. His honesty, Raw, unfiltered, felt like a bomb. Yet critics branded him a troublemaker, oversimplifying knotty issues. Was college flawed? Sure, but worth dismissing? Were lockdowns tough? Yes, but was safety negotiable? They argued his influence demanded restraint, accusing him of stoking outrage over nuance. His calm delivery belied the chaos his words unleashed, turning sentences into headlines painting him as savior or saboteur. Mike laughed off both labels, insisting he just asked questions. But don't questions, when piercing, stir the deepest trouble? He walked a tightrope, inspiring some, dividing others. His legacy remains a tug-of-war, keeping his name alive in heated debates. What's next for Mike Rowe? Today, Mike Rowe stays in the spotlight, but not with reality TV flash. His podcast, The Way I Heard It, thrives, dishing concise tales that surprise, uplift, or challenge history's assumptions. His voice still anchors hits like Deadliest Catch and How the Universe Works, its familiar gravitas echoing in homes. Beyond narration, his microworks foundation grows, funneling scholarships to trade-bound youth, urging society to rethink blue-collar worth. He's louder now, advocating for welders and builders as equals to desk jockeys. Personally, Mike remains private, unmarried, childless by choice, content in Belvedere, California. His bond with his parents, especially his mother, Peggy, a social media starlet with witty posts, shines. He appears at events, spars on social media, and keeps his light-hearted yet provocative style. No longer the muddy boots showman, his influence endures through steady advocacy. Mike Rowe sidesteps gossip rags, but his ideas shape discourse. What's your take on Mike? Drop it below. Thanks for tuning in. Hit like, share, subscribe for more. Catch you next time.